Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mobile Bev Pros Podcast, a podcast dedicated to providing mobile bar and event professionals with the information they need to succeed. I'm your host, business coach, and founder of the Mobile Bar Academy, Sarah Murphy. In each episode, the Mobile Bev Pros team will bring you industry experts, information, anecdotes, and opinions with the goal of assisting you in building a profitable, sustainable, and successful business that supports you in creating wealth. I'm excited to share with you today's episode, so let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Mobile Bev Pros Podcast. The last you all heard from me, I was dropping some announcements from some of the things that are going on here in the Mobile Bev Pros ecosystem, which included the fact that we are going to host another conference-style event in February 2026 in LA. No additional details to share there, other than I have made additional strides in collecting just a superstar team of people to assist me in bringing that event into reality so that it can be shared with all of you. We are hoping to gather between 200 and 300 mobile bar owners from across the country at that event. And so it'll be an amazing opportunity for this industry to gather, to connect, to network, to learn together, to laugh, try a little tequila, probably other spirits, but really, are there any other spirits other than tequila these days? It's going to be amazing. Additionally, we are mere days away from the 75 Hard Challenge, which has had over 35 or 36 registrants at this point from all over the country. That is going to be such an amazing time. We are going to kick that off on Saturday, September 8th. I have extended the early bird discount just because, why not? It's the first time I'm running the challenge. People seem really excited about it. And I honestly think the more the merrier in there. And so if you are interested in jumping in, the early bird discount code does still work. The discount code is right there on the sales page. So when you go to sign up, it's like right there above it. So you can just copy and paste it right into the discount code section. And you can get on in there for $349. The other thing that I wanted to share is I am not normal. There's got to be something categorically wrong with me because I built out the 75 Hard app to allow us to track everybody's tasks and wins so everyone knew exactly what they were supposed to be doing at any given time. Again, the tasks tally about 15 to 20 minutes worth of actual effort every day, but they're like the most high value tasks that you can be doing in order to get your holidays booked. And I needed a way to execute that. And none of the software that I could find or could even think about, including like Asana, ClickUp, et cetera, really had the functionality that I needed. So I built something for it. And I was really very proud, if I'm going to be honest. I had never built an app before. And what a wild time to be alive in the year of our Lord 2025, where there are tools available for someone like me who's never built an app to just crank out an app that does all the things that she wants it to do in order to create this absolutely amazing, engaging, collective challenge specifically designed to make people lots of money. But it wasn't enough. I realized that it could do more. It could have more functionality. And there was this creative pull for me to keep going. And so I did. And now, about 10 days later from the start of this grand idea, I have built an entire outreach management platform. And to put it briefly, how I've been describing it to people is that the current CRMs that people use, whether it's Honeybook, Dubsado, Square, Relevantful, whatever it is that you're currently using for inbound lead management and your contracts, your email communications, etc., nothing that I know of, with the exception of potentially HubSpot, has a good way of handling outbound visibility efforts. And what I mean by that is that when I ask people to perform cold outreach or to intentionally create a system wherein they are nurturing their warm network, so the event planners they already have relationship with, their venue owners that they have already executed events with in the past, people that they know, even whether it's their friends or their family, like when you're releasing a new product or you have a special promotion, maybe holiday stuff, I have not seen people have a really good way of saying, hey, cousin Susie, or hey, mom, or hey, best friend, I know you love and support me in my business efforts. I've released this new offer or this promotion, and you'd really be doing me a solid if you would share this with anybody you think that would be a good fit for this, right? There just doesn't tend to be one, a great way of tracking. And despite what evidence we know and that has been studied, this cold and warm outreach, including networking, is some of the highest ROI visibility efforts that we can be executing. You hear me say it all the time. Networking, cold outreach, warm outreach are the top three things that I think get people paid, right? They're also the top three things that it's like pulling teeth to get people to execute. And part of that is that it's uncomfortable to cold outreach. Some people don't really like networking. Like there's some of that too. But also those of my clients that do actively engage in those activities, when I ask them, like, how are you tracking this? How are you tracking your follow-up? The answer is either I'm winging it. I'm just, whenever they pop into my head, I reach out. Or it's like some rickety spreadsheet kind of scenario that either is sometimes utilized, other times not utilized consistently. And so like the information there is only as good as the data that goes in it, right? And so I just, for whatever reason, figured that today was the damn day to solve this problem. And I built out what I humbly consider to be my greatest work in the world. And it is still in development. Everyone who is participating in the 75 Hard Challenge is going to get free access to this tool. And I'm sure I'll get tons of feedback on it throughout the challenge. And all of that feedback will go into improving the software and its functionality. But essentially, it is set up so that you can input all of these outreach contacts, whether it's importing a list of venues, or maybe you manually enter it from the knot. You go through and you figure out all the venues that have like those $3 signs, right? Those premium venues. And you gather their contact information and you put it into the program. And then you can use the program to do a couple of things. One, track all of your outreach to that person or to that organization, whether it's on LinkedIn or email or social media or even physical mail. You can track that. It will log the date of those contacts. And so you can see the history of your outreach. You can log which ones were responded to. And you can even generate templates and scripts for that outreach. And so the tool that I've built, when you click on the button from their contact card to generate outreach, it will take all the information you've put in there, venue name, the contact name, kind of notes about where you met or a little bit about the venue, anything that you've put in there. And then you can go and you can use the tool to pick the tone, what the purpose of the email is. You can even use some psychological levers in there that I have custom created in there. You know how much I love a good buyer psychology. And then it'll generate the type of message that you're looking for, whether it's an email, a LinkedIn message, a social media DM, or there's one more in there. I can't remember. Or even a call script, should you decide to like pick up the phone and warm introduce yourself to them. Potentially one of my favorite functions is that when you follow up with a contact, it will ask you when you want to follow up again. And if you choose not to enter anything into that particular field, based on the type of contact that you've identified it as, whether it is a familiar contact like a event planner, or if it is a lead, so maybe it is a HR office manager that you've reached out to and they've responded, and so they're like a warm lead, it will auto-generate a date for follow-up. And you have full control over the cadence. I call it cadence management. You have full control of how frequently that is. So maybe a hot lead you want to follow up with every day, but maybe you only want to follow up with a hot lead every 3 days. Like we have industry standards already pre-programmed in there, but you can edit all of that. And so you have a contact that you put in, let's say, an event planner, and you have them on a cadence of just regularly following up with them every 6 months. Then when you log a contact to that event planner, it's going to auto schedule you to contact them again in 6 months. And then you log in, you click contacts that are ready for outreach, and it'll sort and give you a list of all the contacts that today are ready for outreach. Like dream come true. It also has challenge functionality. So this is our first 75 hard challenge, but it is definitely not going to be the last. And potentially my favorite part about the software is that I have gamified it. Because I know how hard it is to get people to do things like cold outreach, warm outreach, and networking events. And so it has both a point system. So for every activity, you get some points, but it also has both fixed and variable rewards. And what that means is that if you achieve certain amounts of whether it's points or logged revenue, there are tangible rewards that you can earn, but there's also variable rewards. So like you might have just logged your 49th contact and you will, a little bit like gambling, win something. And I just think that's so fun. And I honestly cannot wait to share it with everyone who's chosen to participate in the 75 Hard Challenge. Hopefully, it'll not only be enjoyable and fun, but also just ridiculously profitable for everybody who participates. And so I share all of this with you all because, one, I'm very excited, and two, it's important to me that the community as a whole knows that I am eternally attempting to make it easier and more fun to succeed in the events industry. And previously, it was a lot of education. It's been a lot of coaching. It's been hosting events. This is kind of the next evolution for me, is finally condensing down the biggest pain points that I see in the industry and developing the tools that have been missing in my efforts to support people with engaging in these activities. And this piece of software is the result. Now, I have named this software, but I'm not going to release the name of the software just yet. And who knows, if all goes well, maybe it'll have its own booth at something like Wedding MBA, fingers crossed, but I'm unattached to how this plays out. The last thing that I wanted to share today is that I've been taking notes of anything that comes up during the week in multiple one-on-one coaching sessions, because I just assume that if it's something that comes up multiple times, that there's something in the ethers that maybe more than just my one-on-one coaching clients need to hear. And that's specifically around goals and the releasing of what achieving those goals look like. The people who choose to work with me tend to be really high performers. And that means that they have a history of setting really aggressive goals for themselves and then working really, really hard to achieve those goals, which is amazing. However, sometimes people find themselves bending over backwards to achieve a goal that no longer feels good, but they feel like because they've committed to that goal, they still need to be like all in, 10 toes down on achieving that thing. Maybe they told people about it and now they feel obligated to pull it across the finish line. But in case you needed permission or someone to reflect back to you, the reality here is that you don't. You don't. Sometimes the setting of a goal and the walking towards the goal is part of the process of realizing that your goal is actually elsewhere. You tried it, didn't work out for you, try something else. And that's not to say that like you should not pull across the finish line your obligations and responsibilities, because you very much should. What I mean by that is if you decide, for example, that you want to be the largest mobile bar owner in the state of Tennessee, you want to be making $5 million a year and you want to have a base in each realm of Tennessee, East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and West Tennessee. For anyone who didn't know, that's why there are 3 stars on our Tennessee flag. But while walking that path to becoming the largest mobile bar in the state of Tennessee, you realize that you actually want to do coffee instead of bar. You can stop doing bar at any point. You can also at any point decide that being a mobile bar owner isn't what you want to do. Maybe you want to get into event planning, or maybe you want to open a restaurant, right? Like it's okay to pivot. It's also okay for, as you're walking the journey of achieving a goal that you set, to realize that either one, that goal is no longer in alignment with what you really want, or two, that original goal was not nearly big enough for what you actually want, and that you need to take different actions in order to achieve that bigger goal. Just know that at every step along the way, especially if you are following your joy and leaning harder into the things that you've discovered that you really enjoy doing, like me in this app. Did I think I'd be building an app? Was that on my 2025 bingo card or vision board? It absolutely was not. But I'm highly technical. I'm highly strategic. I'm analytical. And I have a ton of patience for working through my own mistakes. And so taking all of those things that I've developed over 40, almost 43 years, made the process of building an app not only aligned, but really, really fun for me. So while that wasn't on my bingo card, it wasn't a goal that I had for myself in 2025, it is still in alignment with my desire to really, truly serve the mobile bar industry in achieving success by filling a gap in something that I've seen for a really long time. And because I walked that line of joy in a general direction, I have landed in the position of creating an app. And in doing so, it could drastically alter the course of what comes next and what my new goals are. And that's okay. And 2 of my clients needed to hear that while they may not still be 10 toes down on the goal that they had when they entered into the coaching container when we first started, their forward momentum is bringing them in greater alignment to the goals that serve them best. So here's your permission to pivot and to keep walking that golden thread of desire. And that's what I have for you guys today. If you are interested in joining the 75 Hard Challenge, please do so before September 8th when doors close and we start. Again, the early bird discount is still in effect. So you just have to go to 75hardmobilebevpros.com and sign up. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next episode. And that wraps up today's episode. I hope it was valuable. I would love to hear from you what you thought. You can drop me a line at hello@mobilebevpros.com or find me on Instagram at mobilebevpros. If you're looking for more valuable mobile bar related content, we have a website full of it. You can find us at www.mobilebevpros.com. And I'd love to see you in our Facebook community, also by the name of, you guessed it, Mobile Bev Pros. Thank you for joining me today. And until next time, cheers.